First off, congratulations on this film. Your performances were absolutely beautiful, so thank you.
Thank
The power of storytelling is a huge part of June and Jenny's story. They are storytellers, and we see throughout the film how destructive and harmful it can be when their ability to be creative, not only with themselves, but with each other, is taken away. How has storytelling been a source of light in both of your lives?
That's a great question. How has it been a source of light and life? Yeah, definitely has helped me through dark times, finding a movie that relates to whatever you're going through. Even storytelling when it comes to music. Music in a way is storytelling, and finding a good song to really empathize with what you're going through or what you're feeling in your heart. It's really life-saving. And I feel like the twins try to find ways to express themselves outside of using, their vocabulary, their words per se. And they try to write down words that would move their audiences. Whoever read it would be moved, would be overcome with just like joy or sadness or whatever emotion they were trying to like evoke in you, like they were trying to make you feel something. And I think that storytelling is a treat. Storytelling is a gift, and those that get to do it, such as ourselves, we're really grateful for. And I'll always be in debt to the medium that is like storytelling, TV, film, because it allows me to express a part of myself that sometimes I'm not able to, in my own personal life.
Absolutely. It was beautifully said. What about you, Tamara?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a really powerful question because storytelling has like many iterations. There's obviously oral history. So I think like hearing about where you came from, or kind of like, speaking to your progenitors, speaking to people who have lived in this industry before you, I think for me has been uh, a great source of grounding, I think, to understand. So I think that's what storytelling has given me, that through oral history. I think through things like theatre and film, it gives me a sense of kind of community, where it makes me understand that the world is bigger than me, and it challenges like my sensitivity or my empathy to kind of invest. There's something really magical about us all investing in whatever we watch, and just all collectively deciding to believe it and go on a journey with someone else. And like, we have the capacity to do this in our everyday life, but we don't. But I think there's something about the visual medium that allows us to kind of tap into kind of humanity or community, and to kind of to be subject and object at the same time, because you put yourself in someone's shoes, but you also think in a different way. And I think also through poetry, lastly, when Audre Lorde said like poetry is not a luxury, I think there's something about using poetry as a medium through which to kind of like distill your experience and kind of use metaphor to excavate some sort of emotion. I think poetry has kept me going through a lot of times in which I wasn't even able to like process what was happening. And so, yeah, thank you for that question, because actually, yeah, storytelling in many ways has like made me more like human, more fully rounded.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that beautiful answer, both of you. Thank you for being so honest and open. Speaking of poetry, there, June and Jenny's poetry and writings are featured throughout the film, which I found to be so powerful. And there's so many wonderfully in depth and just beautiful quotes throughout the film. Was there a particular piece or a poem of writing that stuck with y'all the most, that you carried with you far after filming?
Yeah, I think about this a lot. So it's one of my favorite lines from the pugilist that Jennifer wrote, which you hear as a voiceover. She says, "The room took on the presence of a heavy hush, the shadowed whispers of a growing secret. which I
Oh,
just think is
oof.
such an exceptional line of writing. The imagery in that line of writing has shook me from the day I read it to now. I think about it every now and again. I'm like, I hope I can write like that one day. I think and it just makes me all the more sad that like her talent wasn't realized.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Letitia, what about you?
Oh man, so many beautiful writings as well from June, and the one that resonates with me the most is one that she wrote during her time in Broadmoor, and I can't remember it word for word, but in a way she basically says that she's neither here or there. She's an empty present box,
Yeah.
she's only there for someone else's disposal, and I just felt, that resonated in terms of like when you're having going through like dark situations in your life where you just feel like no one really sees you.
Mhm.
And I just felt it was just an impactful piece of poetry that she wrote to express what she was feeling during that time, and they were both so amazing in their writing, and I wish the world knew more of that. But that's why this film exists. This film exists for the world to understand that they are more than what was showed and said about them back then.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the world to see. I had no idea that about the real life twins. And I feel so grateful now. Thank you to your beautiful performances that you've brought them to life and their beautiful gifts to life. And it's really special. Um, in your opinions, how does the film explore societal pressures specifically put on young women to behave and act a certain way? I know it's kind of a heavy question, but that it was a really important one to explore.
Yeah, that is a loaded question. Yeah, I guess if we look at it from the twins' perspective, it was this pressure to communicate in a way that society wanted them to communicate, which is use your words and walk in the way that we normally walk and talk, and that was a pressure, and also as young women too, they were teenage girls trying to understand themselves, they wanted love, they wanted to experience what it was like to have a crush or to go to a prom, they wanted those things. And I feel like, the pressure of society, when you don't have those things, it makes you feel like you're the other, or you're left out, or you're not normal. And I think throughout this story we see how in different ways society wanted to mold and shape them and understand them, but at the same time not understanding them. That's a very loaded question. I'm still there.
It's just such a special film, and y'all are so beautiful in it. So that's my time. Thank you so much.